Sooner one and Boomer Sooner all. Hello one, hello all. It's Boomer Sooner time again. This will be the second game that the Sooners play this year. It's going to be between the Florida A&M Rattlers and, of course, Boomer Sooner, OU, the University of Oklahoma, Crimson and Cream. Last year, Florida Atlantic had a pretty good year. They went 7-4. They went 5-3 in the MEAC Conference, which is fourth in the MEAC Conference. Last year, their big bowl upset win. They didn't go to the bowls. They didn't go to the playoffs, but they did get an upset, and it was Florida A&M at South Carolina State. Florida A&M nipped them 27-24 at South Carolina. As far as this game is concerned, it will be the first ever football match between the Florida Atlantic Rattlers and the University of Oklahoma. So if you can get a hold of this ticket, it's a big-time thing. It's a big deal for whoever you may want it to be big for. Now let's break down the coaching realm. Their coach is Joe Taylor, no relation to me, Harry James Taylor. He's been in coaching head coach, I should say, since 1983. He's been at 4 universities. He was first at Howard University. After that, he went to Virginia Union University, then to Hampton University, and then, of course, now, as you know, since we're talking about Florida Atlantic, he's at Florida Atlantic University. Over those 4 schools and all those years coaching, he has 453 wins with 170 losses and 9 ties. Of course, we don't do the ties anymore, but he's got 9 of them. Points per game he averaged last year was 38.1. Their graduate guy that they're going to miss this year, his name is Demarius Folsom. He had 68 tackles. He also had an interception, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery, all that's happened last year. As far as this year's team's concerned, their true freshman returns, that's at quarterback. That would be now sophomore Demarion Fleming. He threw for 1,600 yards and 11 touchdowns, of course, as I said, as a freshman last year. Eddie Rocker is their running back. He had 104 carries when it was all said and done, with 555 yards and 3 touchdowns as a junior. He'll be a senior this year coming in. Also a senior coming in this year was a wide receiver named Kevin Elliott. He had 41 catches, 720 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns. Of course, that happened as a junior. He'll be a senior this year. As far as what a lot of people love and care about, the defense, that would be Brandon Hepburn who carries that torch for Florida A&M. He had 68 tackles and a forced fumble last year. Special teams are considered. Their kicker, Chase Vendor, is a redshirt freshman. Don't really have a lot of stats on him from last year, but from high school records, he's pretty good kicker at the kicking slot. Punter, they do have a returning punter, however. That would be Brendan Holden. He had 61 of them, punts that is. He averaged about 41 an average punt. 78 was his career long last year. It came at North Carolina Central. As far as returners are concerned, their leading kick returner was Edmund Baker. He had 24 attempts at returns for 537 yards and 0 touchdowns. His career long was 35 last year. As far as punt returning, Jarrell Stewart holds that fort down. He had 15 returns last year, 104 yards, still no touchdowns, and his career long was 19. I love my program. I love this first test for the Sooners. This is a big test before they start at Kansas State. This is a big-time thing. This thing has been set in stone for quite a while. This is really their easy game, and they have to make it look easy. Last time they played a team like this in Tennessee, Chattanooga was who was in the same division, was Landry's first home game of the season, first ever start and first ever home game. Because if you'll remember, the start factor was because the start was, of course, his first ever start because of Sam Bradford being hurt. His first home start because, of course, if you'll remember, the BYU fiasco. Oh, Lord, do we even want to forget that one? But it did happen. That awful night that BYU upset the University of Oklahoma at Cowboy Stadium. But as far as this night's concerned, as I said, this should be a pretty easy win for Oklahoma. They went 7-4 last year. They finished 5-3 in the MEAC conference, which means that if they only lost one non-MEAC game, it looks like, they have to continue that trend in the MEAC conference. If you're OU, you have to understand that. You have to understand that that is what has got to happen. They're going to try, they're going to punch, they're going to hit you, and they're going to come after you hard. You got to understand that, and you have to go out fighting too. Next game around, Bill Snyder! Kansas State reports in for duty. Sir, I got awesome set on that. You'll want to stick around for that. Until then, I'm Harry James Taylor. Thanks for watching, and Boomer freaking Sooner!